Hi lovelies, how are you doing? You're welcome to Hanaki Signature YouTube channel. Today I'll be showing you how to make this beautiful jean skirt, okay, with all the necessary effects around it. Stay tuned to my channel, make sure you watch till the end, okay, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. You can see it's very beautiful, very neat. Okay, let's go to the cutting table. Okay, here is my pattern paper. From here I'll be marking just 0.5 inch up there. That will be my starting line. Okay, so mark it and then roll it. Okay, I'm using my ruler to roll it now. Just roll it. Then from there I'll be taking my measurement from there to my hip line, and from there to my knee length, and there I'll take my skirt length and the seam allowance for this skirt, my hem allowance rather, and then you mark the line on the other side. Then take your ruler to connect the lines. Here I have connected the lines, as you can see. Now I'll be labeling them. This is my waistline. Okay, I'll go to my hip line. For my waistline, you just indicate your hip line and your knee line. Okay, that's your knee line, and also you indicate your hem line, and also you indicate your hem allowance, okay, which is the 1 inch down there. Okay, so you can see I've indicated them there. You can see the hip line, and waistline. Okay, from there you measure your waistline divided by your waist circumference divided by 4. Okay, you mark it there. Then here I added dart allowance. I'm using 1.5 inch there for dart allowance, and also 1 inch for seam allowance. Okay, on the hip line you divide your hip circumference by 4 and add 1 inch for seam allowance. Okay, that's what you can see me doing there. Okay, so you now go to your knee line. On the knee line, whatever you have on your hip line, okay, your hip circumference divided by 4, you can deduct 2 inches from it, or 1.5 inch, depending on what you want. So depending on how fitted you want your skirt, okay, mine I'm doing 1.5 inches from there. And also what you would do, you would take the 1.5 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance there, and you take it down to your hemline and connect with your ruler like so. You can see what I'm doing. So it depends on how fitted you want it. I just did 1.5 inch and I'm okay with that. So I'm connecting it with my ruler. First I use my curved ruler, and then I use my straight ruler to connect from the hip to the knee line, and from the knee line to the hem line, as you can see. So you can see what I've done right now. So I'm showing you how it's going to be. Then you blend it on the knee line. Okay, we don't want it too sharp there. Okay, so you now go to the waistline. Remember we have dart 1.5 inches there. I want to eliminate the dart. I purposely included the dart there because I want that part really fitted, okay, sitting well on my waistline to my hip line. So then you connect the dart 1.5 inches dart, you eliminate it, then connect it back to the hip line, okay, the hip circumference there. Then from there you will now add your 1 inch seam allowance there, as you can see what I'm doing there. Then you use your curved ruler to connect it back to the seam allowance on the hip line, as you can see me indicating there. Don't forget, it's optional. You can decide not to add your dart allowance there and just do it straight, but I want it really fitted. Okay, so you can see, then you blend it there. So now you indicate this is your front pattern is ready. Your front, you indicate front pattern is ready. Now we'll go to the waistline. On this waistline, you can see on the band, yeah, we have 2 bands there. I designed just 2 bands there. So what you're going to do, 2 bands. Okay, so from there, from the waistline, you first come down by 2 inches, okay, for the first band. Okay, you do 2 inches. Then from there on the second line you do 1.5 inches. You mark it on the other side. On the other side, that's the side of the skirt, okay, from the center to the side. Okay, you mark same 2 inches and 1.5 inches. Then you connect with your straight ruler like I'm connecting. Okay, you connect the first one, and then you connect the 1.5 inches, like so. I'll be showing you how to curve the front part while we are sewing. Okay, so you indicate 1, 2, so as for you not to make any mistake. Okay, so, and remember on your fabric you had your seam allowances. Let's cut it out. Okay, here I want to cut it out. Remember, we've eliminated the dots. Okay, so now you cut with your paper scissors. Okay, so like I'm cutting rather. So now we're done cutting. So this is what you would have. 1, 2 for the band. Okay, I'll be cutting them out. So just indicate F1, that's front 1 and front 2. You can see F and F2, so as for you not to mix it with the back band. Okay, so now let's cut it out. So like I'm doing, we cut it out like so. You cut out the first one. Okay, you keep it, make sure you keep them well. Then you cut the second band. Make sure you keep them very well so as for you not to mix them or mix them up with the back. You can see here it says add your seam allowances. Okay, here is the back pattern. We are done with the front pattern. So for the back pattern, on the front part, you first mark 1 inch. Okay, mark 1 inch, then you roll it like so, you connect it. Then from that 1 inch you measure your waist divided by 4. Okay, then you add your dot, 1 inch for dot, then also 1 inch for seam allowance. Then you go to your hip line, you do same, you divide your hip by 4, you add your 1 inch allowance. Okay, then you go to your knee line. Don't forget, whatever you have on your hip line, you deduct whatever you want to deduct. Here I'm removing 1.5 inch from it. Okay, you can do 2 inches, you can do 1, you can do whatever you want. Okay, depending on how fitted you want. Okay, like I said while drafting the front pattern. So whatever you have on your knee line now, okay, you take it to the hem line. Okay, so I removed 1.5 inch from mine. Okay, so I'm taking it, I'm okay with that. Then I took it to the hemline and just mark it like so and connect first with my curve ruler from the hip to the from the waist to the hip line is curvy. Okay, then you curve, then you use your straight ruler from your hip to the knee line. You connect first the actual measurement, then you connect the seam allowance as well, like so. Okay, then you go to the hemline, and do same there. Okay, connect like so, just as simple as that. And don't forget, on the knee line you blend it on the knee line, and also if there's anything you should do on the hip line. Okay, so now you eliminate the dot at the back. Also on the waistline you eliminate the 1 inch dot, eliminate it, then you connect it like so back to your hip line, and also then your 1 inch seam allowance, also you add 1 inch seam allowance and connect it to the hip line like so. Okay, before we cut it out, I would love to contour that back. Okay, that back. Okay, this is what I did. I removed it went in by 0.75 from that line. Okay, you go in by 0.75 and connect it. Okay, make sure you return it. Okay, so after measuring your waist divided by 4, I returned the 0.75 you removed. Okay, for contouring the back, okay, of the skirt. So you return it before adding your dot allowance, which is 1 inch, and also your seam allowance, which is 1 inch. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. Then you connect that contour, you connect it to the hip line like so. So as for that back to really lay well on your, okay, on you, yeah, on your waistline. Okay, we don't want any bulgy area there. You connect like so, then that part will be out. Okay, remember to return whatever you eliminate there. I did 0.75 there, and I return it back after dividing my hip by 4. whatever I got, I added the 0.75 and 1 inch for that and 1 inch for seam allowance. Okay, then now you reconnect your 1 inch there. We will not be adding zipper there, but I'll be showing you how to do what we call a French seam. Okay, I will be stitching that back, this kind of seam you see on your jeans. So that is the purpose for the 1 inch at the back there. Okay, there won't be any vent or slit there, but just keep watching. Okay, just keep watching. I hope by now you subscribe to my channel. Subscribe, share, like, comment. Okay, let's proceed. So here it is. So now, after connecting it, let me show you. Just eliminate that part. That part will be cut out. We don't need that part anymore. Okay, I hope you're not confused. Yeah, that is it. Okay, on this side we're going to be connecting it. First, you connect from that contour you added back. After the actual waist divided by 4, you connect to the hip line. Okay, then you are going to connect the seam allowance. Remember, we have eliminated the dot. Okay, we've eliminated it. So after the elimination, we are going to be connecting the seam allowance to the hip line like so. So just like that. Then remember, on the waistline, you come down by 2 inches for the band, and the next one is 1.5 inch. You do that on the next side, 2 inches and 1.5 inch. Then connect with your ruler. Okay, you can see me connecting first the 2 inches. Okay, and also connecting the 1.5 inches. Okay, like so. So now we're going to be indicating we are done. You write your B1. Okay, that's back 1 for the band and back 2, like I said, while cutting the front, so as for you not to make mistake, okay, or mixing them together. Remember, on your fabric you're going to be adding 0.5 inch up and down. Okay, so as to stitch it up, stitch it down, and also on the main skirt too, you're going to be adding 0.5 inch. Okay, but nothing, you're not going to be adding anything on both sides, just up, okay, and down. So I'm cutting them out like so. Remember the elimination, you cut it out too like so. On the back, you've added seam allowances there at the back and the front. That's the side, the front folded parts. But this is not going to be there won't be any folding there. I'm just trying to explain to you from the starting point. We have the seam allowance, which is 1 inch there. Okay, so where we're going to be adding seam allowance will just be on the bands up and down, and also on the main skirt. To join the band to the skirt, we need a seam allowance of 0.5 inch. You can see we are done with the back pattern. Okay, you can see, then you indicate we have CB, that's the center back. Okay, you can see what I've done there. So as far as not to mix, then you do your CSB, that's the side back. Okay, so as for you not to make any mistake. Okay, we have CB, and so now the other one, CB also on the next band, second band, and SB, which is side back. Okay, these are the bands for, and here you add 0.5 inch. This is what I'm talking about, and also those parts that I'm indicating 0.5 inch. Then this is your back pattern. You're going to be cutting 2 pieces for this, and also the front pattern too. We are going to be cutting 2 pieces. Okay, not just unfold. The front will not be unfold, it will be 2 pieces. And also for the back, here I'm done with the back. Okay, and on the front, let's indicate on the band too, we have the front. Okay, make sure you indicate them, because you're going to be cutting 2 pieces, so as for you not to make mistakes. Okay, so just do it like so. Cut 2 pieces, front 2 pieces. Okay, all right, not unfold. Do not add any seam allowance on the front, okay, of the skirt, where, you understand what I'm saying? Do not add any seam allowance on where the measurement started from. Okay, don't worry about that. Don't add any seam allowance. Remember, at the back we added 1 inch to the center back. Okay, now on the center front, do not add any seam allowance. We only added 1 inch to the center back for seam allowance out, because we're going to be adding plackets on the front. Okay, the center front. I'll show you the method I'm going to be using. With this method, we do not need any seam allowance on the center front. Okay, that's where I'm indicating, just only on the center back. I hope you understand me. So we are We are done drafting. The next video will be the cutting on fabric and sewing. Thanks for watching.